but I absolutely love my lavender. I do propagate my own lavender, and there are two ways that I use to propagate lavender and have for several years. So let's get started. I am Vicky Manitou Okas, and in this video I am going to briefly show the two different ways that I create my own lavender plants to grow in my garden. So let's get started. But
I have my trusty old milk jug cut, ready, drilled on the bottom, cut it open, and I've got it filled with potting soil, and it is ready to plant almost. I'm going to put some water in here. This is collected rainwater. I either use rainwater, well water, or distilled water. Okay, I want that nice and moist, but I don't want it soggy. Okay, and I am going to plant some lavender in this container. So I'm planting some lavender in this container so that I can transplant it into the garden next spring when the weather warms up. So we've got phase one, stage one of the permaculture beds outside, ready to plant as soon as we get the fence up and when the weather warms up. So we need some perennials to go into it, and this is one of the perennials that I'm going to use in the garden. We are in USDA zone 5, the warmest part of zone 5. So this winter has seemed cold, but the lowest temperature it's gotten is about 4 degrees below zero, so it's not a terribly cold zone. But okay, lavender seed is very, very tiny. I mean, it's not dust, but it's very small, and this seed needs some light to germinate. So I am going to sow it a few seeds on the top of this soil. Okay, and I'm not counting. I don't think lavender has a very high germination rate, so I'm going to plant quite a few in here. Okay, and I've got them spread all across the top. Okay, put the rest of them back in there. Okay, I do not cover lavender seed. Okay, what I do is go through and give it a light press. Okay, make sure I didn't pick up any of them with my finger. Okay, to make sure that they've got good soil contact. And the next time I water them, I will water them with a spray bottle, so that I will just mist them. Just this little spray bottle. Mist it in, just lightly mist it to keep the soil moist but not soggy. And I'm going to set this out where it can get some sunlight in reasonably warm temperature, and we'll see what happens. So if it's warm enough, they'll germinate. If not, I will replant it in a couple of weeks. So we'll have some lavender transplants to put out in the garden. All right, thank you. Hey. Yeah, several months ago, because I didn't think the lavender outside was going to survive the winter, I planted some lavender seed in the milk jug, and I did a video about that. So let's take a look at that. And there it is. They are just starting to get a little bit of strength to them, but these won't be ready to put into the garden until probably fall. So another 2-3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I will put those into individual containers, but they won't be ready for outdoor unprotected growth until either fall or maybe even next spring. So lavender can be grown from seed, but it really takes a long time to get a strong plant. When I was out and checking the lavender in the garden a few days ago, I noticed that it was just starting to green up. Now, this particular lavender has been in the ground for about 5 years, and it's starting to look a little bit scraggly and woody. When I looked at it a couple of weeks ago, I didn't think that it had survived the winter because it was looking pretty rough. But a few days ago, I noticed that it had starting to show some green. So what I did is I went and cut back some of the branches on the lavender. Oh yeah, that's heavy. Okay, so what I did was I went and out and cut back some branches on the lavender to open up that crown a little bit and give that crown a chance to grow up. And the lavender branches that I cut, quite a bit of them had some green growth. So I took and cut the growing tips, anything that had growing tips. Okay. I cut that back to about the length of a finger, and then stripped the bottom inch off of that, dipped it in rooting hormone, and I put it into the propagation tray. So we're going to leave that, that's only been in there for about 2 days. We're going to leave that in there for about 2-3 weeks and see if any of that lavender takes and roots. And hopefully it will, because I need to replace the lavender that is in the garden right now. And we are going to be tearing that section out to put a fence in. So when I do that, I will probably kill the old plant, whether it's in good shape or not. So we're going to try and save some of that lavender here with the cuttings. Cuttings is your best propagation technique for creating new lavender plants. A little bit later in the season with softwood cuttings is best, but I needed to do it right now. So I think some of these will take. I only need 1 or 2, and we'll see what happens.
So, why don't you plant your own lavender? You can grow it in a container, you can grow it in a tiny garden, and it is so useful. Now, at any rate, what do you use lavender for in your life? And what kind of space do you have that you would grow lavender? So give me a shout out in the comments, like, subscribe, and come and join me over at Delectable Tiny Gardens, where we'll support each other on our path towards food and herb sustainability and resiliency. Thank you, and we will talk to you next time.